Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to our webinar, The Dangers of Social Media. My name is Gabrielle Crichlow. I am one of the co-hosts for today. I'm going to bring up my other co-hosts shortly. So in this webinar, we're going to be talking about the various things about social media in terms of how it's affecting kids and, the certain things that you should know about things like, like Facebook and all the internet, all the dangerous things that are out there. And we wanted to present this information to you guys. So you may have joined us before. We had the same webinar about 3 weeks ago, but we had a weird technical issue with the recording. So spur of the moment, we're doing it again. And we decided, why not? Let's put the call out again. So you guys are here on a different platform. So thank you guys for joining us once again. So again, my name is Gabrielle Crichlow. I am one of the co-hosts of the event, but the actual presenter of the event, her name is Amber Hawkins, and I'm going to bring her to the stage and I'm going to allow her to introduce herself.
Hello there, everybody. Good afternoon, evening, and morning, as mentioned before, depending on your time zones. My name is Amber Hawkins, your computer needs at Toledo LLC in Toledo, Ohio. I thank you so much for tuning in. And I also thank you for those of you who have tuned in before to rejoin us. We greatly appreciate you, and we appreciate the time that you spent with us during the first time a couple weeks ago when we did the dangers of social media. This is I guess you could say, the revisitation of it. So we want to make sure that we bring forth the information necessary. And again, thank you. Just to let you know that where I am located, I'm in Ohio. And if it kind of looks a little dark, that's because it's about to rain where I am, number one. Number two, I did see earlier a lightning bolt and also heard some thunder. So if you hear some nature sounds in the background, know that if you ever had rainfall come your direction, you pretty much know what's going to be happening. So if you hear some background noise, that is why. But again, thank you for tuning in. Not going to hold the time any further. Let's go ahead and get underway. So Gabrielle, if you will bring forth the slides, we can continue on from there.
Of course. So I'm just going to make a quick interjection. As you said, where you're from Ohio. I am from New York, so we're coming, with the power of the virtual world and the virtual presentation. We're coming from two different states, but we're coming together in one place. So that's the beauty of this virtual world. So just kind of a quick thing. So as this is a webinar format, we definitely encourage you guys to ask questions. So as the show is going on, we encourage you to type your questions in the chat if any questions come up for you. But we will get to questions and answers toward the end, but feel free to put your questions in the chat. We appreciate that. And we also want to let you know that we're also going to do a raffle. So you got to stay to the end. So if you stay to the end, then we will, I think I will just share the link. I was kind of hoping to see a list of names, but I guess not. All right. So I'm going to have to, I'll put the link in the comments and you guys can fill out that form. But we will announce the winners of the raffle towards the end. So make sure you guys stay to the very end to figure out if you won or not. So let's talk about what the prize is. So on my end, sponsored by my company, A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. So I'm providing $50 of groceries, sponsored by my company. Certain conditions apply, but that's one of my offerings. And the other one is a tutoring goodie folder. So I will have to mail it to you. There's a bunch of coupons and fun information in the goodie folder. So those are the things that I am raffling from my company. And Amber, tell everyone what you're raffling.
Well, for the one who wins, they get to have a one-on-one free 1 hour virtual computer consultation. The opportunity for that is that you'll get to talk with me virtually about what's going on, what you need as far as your concerns with computers, technology, and the way things are these days, the digital world, because we have everything from smartphones to drones to robotics and everything else. But as with her raffle, with mine, certain conditions apply as well. But looking forward to see who the winner will be.
Awesome. So that's an incentive for you guys. Make sure you guys stay till the end. There was another thing, but it slipped my mind. I totally forgot. But that's okay. But yes, so so make sure you guys stay to the end for the raffle. And again, if you have any questions, please type them in the chat. We will get to them towards the end. All right, Amber, I'm going to let you go ahead and start the presentation. So let me put your slides up on the screen. And I will let you go ahead and present.
All right. Again, thanks everybody. And again, also thank you for joining us. As you can see, what we're going to be talking about, the dangers of social media. And I tell you something, even I can say with things that have been happening lately, I would say within the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot going on. Within the couple of months, a lot has been going on. And even just a year, truly, a lot can be said is happening right, left, everywhere else. But what we're here to do is present tips and tricks and also the information needed to guide us all as far as handling everything going on. So again, we ask, and for those of you who are joining us for the first time, we ask, parents, are you aware of today's dangers of social media? Brought forth again by A Step Ahead Tutoring Services and Your Computer Needs of Toledo, LLC. I am your presenter, Amber Hawkins, owner, founder of Your Computer Needs of Toledo, LLC. Everywhere as far as YouTube, everywhere as far as Google or Google Plus, everywhere as far as Bing, Reddit, name the social media platform, and that's what I'm talking about. Even Skype, in case there are those of you who use Skype, LinkedIn, Stumble Upon, TikTok, Snapchat, all of them. Are you aware of the dangers? We're talking about dangers, number one, as far as even content. Anything you enter, data, anything like that. How appropriate or not appropriate is it? There's been a lot going on as far as speech. And it's not always friendly speech. It could be hate speech. There are even formations and have been formations a long time as far as hate groups are concerned. It's where, for some odd reason, we'll put it that way, there is the slipping in of pornographic content. There were times that you would see a good amount of censorship, I'm trying to say, but it seems like somehow, some way, you have those that seem to be surpassing the firewall, quote unquote, firewall of censorship. And all of a sudden, here it is where, how did this video clip seep through? How did this particular short movie seep through all of that? How did this happen? We're having that. And we are easily having a lot of content that's of violent and graphic nature. Seems like nothing is hidden or protected or even censored, it seems like. We also have the thought as far as, okay, how private is my privacy? And how secure is my security? Honestly, there's so much sharing, you might as well call it oversharing. There's the tagging, a lot of times happening on your social media platforms. There's also tagging from persons you don't even know, but somehow got to where they're tagging you or tagging you to different posts that are inappropriate. And how in the world did that happen? There's somehow, some way, some information shared that you thought was personal, but for some reason, okay, how in the world did what I just talked about, or the subject matter that I had talked about not too long ago, seems to be out in the open for some reason? There's the posting also as far as anything embarrassing, like that was not meant to be seen by anyone else. And it's putting you in compromising positions by not only putting you, let's say, as the adults, but also as a lot of times children are exposed to this. What was, let's say, hidden is now not so hidden. Let's put it that way. It seems to be easier these days as far as all these fake accounts. Everything from, as it says in the slide, catfishing and impersonation, to risk of interaction with strangers online and you think it's somebody that you know, to the difficulty of parents monitoring multiple accounts. Just when you thought you took care of whoever this online perpetrator is, the next thing you know, here is a new communication with whoever this individual or even this created bot is, having conversations with your children or whatever. And it's like, wait a minute, how did this happen? Wait a minute, how in the world is it where I did the settings the way they should have been done and this activity is still going on? We're talking about cyber threats via the internet, of course. Everything from predators who are committing the abuse, the cyberbullying, the online grooming, and here is too much information shared. And it's not necessarily nice information that's being shared, if you know what I'm talking about. The acts of everything from catfishing to the online grooming. I just going to go back a slide a little bit. So when I am saying catfishing or impersonation, this picture is pretty much displaying what I'm talking about. Here it is, everything from the enticing to where the child thinks they're talking to someone that is trustworthy and known, but is unknown and not trustworthy. There's the other side of this, which unfortunately also does happen. It is someone known. It is someone trustworthy. It's just that the committing of the acts that are endangering your child is not known to your child, and whoever this perpetrator is committing these acts, and it is not known to you. The discoveries of it when the information is found out can be quite a situation that was not planned for, and how in the world do you handle it? Unfortunately, that is also going on. This picture displayed here, that's pretty much online grooming. Whatever it takes to gain the trust of the child and everything. And believe it or not, somehow, some way, the person on the other side has an idea of what will have the child not question what's going on. I'm not saying that no, kids are smart. Kids are very smart. It's just that the perpetrators do activities necessary to try to outsmart many children, unfortunately. How the child feels is something that these days you need to pay attention to, really. If your child is usually mild-mannered, but all of a sudden they have angry outbursts, if your child is usually outgoing, but now all of a sudden they become isolated, how in the world, why is my child depressed? This has never happened before. All of a sudden, your child gets ill. And then there are bouts of humiliation that really causes a lot of stress. Now let's go the other route. Your child, okay, is ill, but for some reason, you thought they were getting better, but they're getting worse. Your child is trying to get where they're overcoming their depression, but for some reason, any progress that has happened, the depression for some reason has activated, has increased. Okay, they're to themselves, but now they're more to themselves. Wait a minute, hold on. Working through anger. Then all of a sudden, it's increased in anger episodes. All of this is how cyberbullying is affecting your child. So if there is an increase or all of a sudden, 9.9 times out of 10, I'm not saying it's not anything else. Everything needs to be ruled out, but definitely check into if there's a possibility some cyberbullying is going on. There's everything from flaming to impersonation, as we talked about before, exclusion, harassment, the threats, flaming. They're on social media all of a sudden without any warning. Here comes all the insults coming left and right, back to back, one by one, on, so on and so forth. Don't even have time to breathe and try to post to defend yourself. The child doesn't have the opportunity to do that because here come all the insults and everything. The impersonation again from before, the exclusion, trying to do everything to make sure online wise you're not included in whatever conversation, or there is exclusion as far as maybe your child was maybe part of a private group on Facebook with friends and all of that. But then the next thing you know, for some reason, and it's information that is not true, but to the friends it's made believable. So all of a sudden, your child is excluded from this group based on lies. Harassment, of course, the cyber threats, of course, the cyber stalking, of course. Like how stalking can occur online. All these emails and even email threats. Somehow, some way, your child's email address, maybe it was kept private, but now it's now known, and they're getting all these email threats, and also as far as disruptions and all of that. We additionally have all the scams that are going on, and also all the phishing that is going on. Now, this particular type of phishing is where, like you fish, you go to fish, you have the bait, and then you lure the bait to catch the fish. This is pretty much that concept on an online scale. And this can occur and happen if you're not recognizing the fake accounts and the requests. That these days needs to be monitored more so, because fake accounts can be a recognizable name that, oh, okay, I know this person, I can let them in, but it's not that person. Somehow that person's, let's say, Facebook page has been compromised. And here comes a friend request. We're already friends. Why are you sending a friend request to me again? Maybe you are messaging that person, hey, I got a request from you that you're trying to friend me again, but we're already friends. What's going on? And then here's a conversation going on saying that my Facebook account somehow has been compromised. Could you friend me again? Oh, sure, no problem. The problem is this. It's a person that is impersonating your friend that unfortunately you have a conversation with. And in case there's some personal information shared, that's that information that they're going to use to threaten. I'll get to that more so shortly. The different types of the phishing attacks. You have everything from, let me go this route. I'm going to go from last to beginning. Let me tell you about whaling. Whaling is this. You're doing everything you can to prevent this perpetrator from, going to your child or trying to get to your child. And this perpetrator sees how successful you are. So the perpetrator is going to try another route and say, okay, yeah, this parent is doing an awesome job. So since I can't get to the child, let me take care of the parent. Let me take care of the adult. And yes, this does happen in the workplace. This does happen to, let's say, the heads of companies, nonprofits, academia, faith-based, all of that. No entity is excluded, unfortunately. So if they can't get to the target, they'll make sure you're the target. And then cyberbully, entice, fish, everything you, the adult, you, the parent, you, the grandparent, you, the aunt, you, the uncle, you, the big brother, you, the big sister, you, the cousin, you, the babysitter, whatever. They're going to target you, because if they can't get to whom they want, which is a child, they will try and do whatever is necessary to get to you. can this person be that bold? Or can this person create a bot to be that bold? And the answer is yes, they can. The spear phishing that's online, enticing, trying to gather your information, but they gather it by impersonating to be a familiar face, a familiar person. The smishing, this is usually via your devices, let's say your tablets or your smartphones. Hey, you won a $5,000 grant. Congratulations. And then you're responding, you're thinking like, oh, I'm in need. I'm talking about entrepreneurs here for a second. Not that they don't try to entice you with whatever, let's say, you need personally, but I'm just using this for an example. And then the next thing you know, the response back, how do I claim my prize? And thank you very much and all of that. All you need to do is send us $600, $700 for processing fees and all of that. No, you do not. Please do not do that. That is what's called smishing. And you see, as the conversation goes back and forth, and maybe unbeknownst to you, you give your information unbeknownst to you to a perpetrator or one who created, again, a bot to try to gather your personal information, use against you, commit ID theft and all of that. This is the same as far as with children. All of a sudden, your child gets an email on his or her smartphone, allowing that, enticing them with something that they need. They're asking for the child's information. The child gives the information unbeknownst to them. And the next thing you know, here's this exchange. Well, make sure you tell mom or daddy that I need $200. Make sure tell your mom and dad I need $500. Make sure you tell your mom and dad, oh, it's just like $50 or $75 because the information that I need to send to you, or this prize I need to send to you, or whatever, has a cost. And we gotta do what we gotta do. We gotta take care of what has to be taken care of. So please let them know that we need the funds in order to get you your prize. And how payment is done credit, debit card, and if they're fancy enough, everything from PayPal to Venmo to Stripe to all the others. And now all of a sudden, here's not only the child's personal information, but your personal information. And your bank and your credit card company are sending you emails like, Mr. and Miss whoever, we see a charge of this, that, and the other. Did you intend to make this charge? That can do the same as far as content injection, as it's called. You think you're looking at content that's familiar to you, but yes, they're fancy enough and tech enough to make you think you're looking at content that's familiar to you when it's that familiar content that is meant to entice you. Anything as far as DNS, we're talking about websites, a lot of the fake websites. The deception phishing attack that's dealing with the emails. And in case your child has an email address and somehow this person has gotten a hold of it, here comes all these deceiving emails. Here's some messages or some information sent to a child's communique, as I'll call it, that they're visiting this website that you think and the child thinks is a reputable website. And guess what? It just looks like one, but it's not a reputable website. All that and a lot deals with phishing. We have artificial intelligence. If it's not one thing, it's another. And you're probably thinking as a parent regarding, oh Lord, of all the things I gotta deal with, now I gotta deal with this AI. I gotta deal with this all artificial intelligence. There are benefits to it. Let me mention just a few of them. You can, with the use of artificial intelligence, moderate the data, the content. You can use AI to detect any fraud, so there can be fraud prevention. You can also use artificial intelligence to research any recommendations that you need in order to actually find out what are the current recommendations to prevent AI fraud, AI impersonation, all of that. Because the different AI platforms we have these days, and it's growing. Yes, there's Chat GPT or Open Chat GPT. There is Gemini that used to be called Bard. There is Perplexity. There is Kokomo. There is Jasper. There is Copilot, and all of the others. Let me also mention video. Let me also mention Ideogram. A lot of them reputable artificial intelligence, but you have to be careful, because just as a lot of reputable artificial intelligent platforms are created, there is unfortunately those that are fake. And there are some that are dangerous, because you have everything from bias with your social media platforms, which are, you might as well say, internet based, because you have to access social media platforms on the internet anyway. And the other side of this, you have where AI is being used, and people are using artificial intelligence to help them, can you say, enhance discrimination with the algorithms? Now that's beyond a notion. The deep fakes and the information. Deep fakes, let's just switch it around. It's fake, but it's to not only another level, but to another dimension. And it is quite deep, and it is happening more so than we all realize. I mean, I'm presenting right now, and whenever the replay is available, it's going on. We have addiction and manipulation. Using your data, using your content, using your personal information, if they are able to access it. And the way things are now, it's not even a question of if. The way things now, it's a question of when. Because I have to make sure to take the necessary steps. Gabrielle has to do that as well. We all have to do that. I have great nephews under the age of 8, and I'm making sure I'm letting their parents know, hey, make sure you monitor what they're doing. Because there were times I've even seen some things going on. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Sometimes I'm out and about and I see what's happening. There's posting of even video clips that maybe this should have been a private conversation instead of a social media post getting all 10,000, 50,000, 75,000 likes, angry emojis and all of that, and at least 1,000 comments and growing. We have what's called the deep faking, as far as you're looking at some video, and a lot of times it is in the form of a famous celebrity or famous person or even a person you may know and think you're looking at this video, it looks like them, but for some reason, the way this picture or design or art looks like, it looks a little off because their eyes are not like that. Their facial expression, they usually don't express like that, but it doesn't. And you got to really have a knowledge and a know-how, because it's like, unless you recognize it just that little bit off, it's letting you know that it's fake. But it's very challenging to detect, but it's there. But you have to have a keen eye as far as recognizing anything as far as deep faking is concerned. And that picture is an expression from before of deep faking, where, again, switch it around, fake, but in a deep level, in a deep dimension, to the point where it's hard to detect. Some strategies that I would say need to be implemented. If they have not been implemented yet, they need to be implemented as soon as possible in order to keep the kids safe. How you communicate. We have to remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is 2024, not 1984, not 1974, not even 1964. We're dealing with a different generation. A generation ago, that's what was said about us when we were close to the age of the picture of this child here. And even before that, this is a different generation. It was said back in the 60s, back in the 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s, all of that. It was mentioned as far as 2000, 2010, and now we're in the 2020 decade, this being 2024 now. That hasn't changed. It's just the time has changed. And it is, yes, a different generation. So not only should the communication be open, but the communication needs to be of today, because the measures that you need to take for online safety have increased and have changed. Let's make sure that the rules are clear. If it is, you definitely cannot use social media until, whatever the until is, that is to be followed. And I need to interject this. Yes, you are the parent and the adult and everything, that's understood. But as sneaky as we were when we were kids, I think you know the direction I'm going. So guess what? If this is the rule that's applicable to the kids, the adults will have to make sure that it's applicable to them. Understand how sophisticated and smart and very technologically advanced a lot of these perpetrators have gotten. So in order to have as much prevention as possible, there are times you got to practice what you tell the kids to do. If you have not, or it's been a while since you have, check those privacy settings and also check those controls. The skills as far as critical thinking, I'll change it up. More evaluation needs to be done of all these social media platforms that your child uses. And there needs to be a balance. We're online a lot, but even our bodies need a break. And even our eyes need a break, because everything from dry eye, itching eye, and all of that. That's for you and for your child. There needs to be a healthy balance as far as that is concerned. And these are going to be a few examples of resources for parents, and educators, because everything I've just mentioned, in order to get to the child, especially with the increase of this, believe it or not, is not just in the home environment. It can be while you all or the child is out and about somewhere, whether you're monitoring them or not. It can occur while they're with their friends. Cyberbullying and everything can occur while they're with family and friends. Cyberbullying can occur while you're on vacation. The attempts of cyberbullying can occur while you're at maybe your institution of faith. And I'm here. They're not going to try anything. Oh, think again. Think again. So as far as the websites with information, online safety, and social media, and as far as tools and apps, because we are on our smartphones a lot, and those smartphones can be something else as far as managing the children's online activities. Here's some information from Open View Education, and the website address is on your screen. One of the first things, as I mentioned before, make sure there are parental controls set up. So even when the child is not around you, at least those controls are set up. Yes, and there are different apps in which you can have activities supervised. Again, the expectations, make sure they're clear. Be open for talk. Talk these days isn't talk even a year ago. Talk these days isn't talk 4 years ago. Talk isn't talk these days 10 years ago, but there needs to be an arena in which the child can be safe in saying mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, auntie, uncle, big cousin, big brother, big sister, I need to talk. Is it always a pleasant conversation? Unfortunately, it's not always, but there needs to be preparedness and readiness, because the goal is to have the child come to you. But if they feel uncomfortable for whatever reason, don't think they're not going to anybody else. And the one thing you don't want to have done is they talk, they want to talk, they need to talk, they have to talk, but they can't talk. But who can they talk to? They can talk to whom you're trying not to have the child talk to in the first place, and that's that perpetrator. Have some time when you are online together. I don't have the time. I'm busy. I got this, I got that. I'm not as digitally astute as my child. But again, you don't want your child to be cyberbullied, correct? If it were only this easy. If it were only this easy as taking something, put the lock on, okay, I'm done. No. Unfortunately, it is not that easy. One of the other websites you have listed on the screen, the link is there. And believe it or not, this is a website with older kids and teenagers. They are themselves letting you know of the safety tools. And these are actually from teens. Yes, teens are that smart, astute, and all of that. Even preteens as well, and even children. But this is one of the links, as I said before, by one from teens, excuse me. So let me go back again. Again, this is the link of a website created by teens letting adults know advice and the tools needed to protect the child from cyberbullying and any other cyberbullying crimes. These are examples of different social media platforms, just a few, and showing you, updating in case you don't know where to find the settings so you can make sure that they are taken care of. If you cannot remember the last time you did any of these settings, it's time to check these settings as soon as possible. The previous slide was an example of one from Facebook. This is an example of one from TikTok on an Android phone. So if you don't want others finding you, that is the way to do it. This is as far as Instagram, as far as handling all the tracking. And it is that time to ask any questions, and we'll be getting to the raffle soon. But I will be going back to this, but I want to say I thank you all so much. And for those of you who have been privy to this again, I also thank you for returning. I hope this information has been helpful, and I also hope that this information will help guide you in the protection of you, and most importantly, the protection of your child. Again, I thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, Amber, thank you for that fabulous presentation. So I hope you guys took a lot from that information. And now it is question and answer time. So feel free to post your questions in the chat. I also pinned the link for the raffle. So if you haven't signed up already, make sure you do. The link is pinned to the chat. But yes, please post your questions in the chat. So far, I see none. So we'll give you guys a moment to do that. I will share a few things, and then Amber, feel free to chime in. I will say, in regards to I don't know much about, like deep fakes, but because there's people people can, you can capture somebody's voice, and you want to be mindful of, that's kind of the downside to the more you kind of put yourself out there on social media, people can there are software programs that are affordable that you could just capture somebody's voice. And then and that's the fear with deep fakes, right? You can capture somebody's face, you can capture somebody's voice, and then and then there's spoofing where you can kind of fake call somebody, and and people believe what the other person is saying, right? Because they're using a computer to type out the words, but it's the voice that's coming out that you hear, and that's what that's scary about the deep fakes and things like that. So I would say if where they say listen to that internal instinct, right? If they're calling out the blue, I would say to engage in conversation, tell me what's going on, what's the problem, where are you? Maybe if it's something with you and your child can do is to make sure, let me just make sure it's you talking and not a computer, maybe like a code, like, oh, what's the code word, or come up with a question that only the child can answer, things like that. Like, oh, like what's what color is, what's my favorite book? Like something that only the child would know to answer. And if the person on the other end doesn't get it, then okay, I know it's an imposter. So maybe that, that might be something you and your child can work out is, hey, let's come up with a code word. Let's come up with a question. So, so in case I get a random call, like, hey, I'm in danger, send money. Like, wait, what's the code word? Like, I know you're not really thinking about it in the time of panic, but you just want to remember, it can happen. And I forgot what it's called, but it is a fake phenomenon where you're calling and, oh, I'm in danger, please send money. And then you find out, oh, there is no danger. Or it's the fake kidnapping. I forgot what it's called. There's a word for it. Oh, so-and-so's been kidnapped, send money. And then you send the money and then you go to find the child and like, oh, they're just living a normal random day. Like, oh, it's a regular day. But you thought they were kidnapped, but they really weren't. So I know there's a word for that, but just things like that. So that might be something that you want to institute in your home, a code word, a special question, things like that. So far, no questions. So I guess you guys are good. Hopefully you guys ask the questions. Let me see what else. Oh, did you want to add anything to that, Amber?
Yeah. I just want to say, everything that you mentioned is correct. And let me add, maybe make a game out of that. Somehow make a game that, hey, it's time to play this game. This is our special code word. So let's play on what happens with this special code word, what you should do, what you should not do, and on from there. As they say, I don't like to be the bearer of bad news, but there is awareness that needs to be brought forth because there is the code word that you have and the prevention of everything that needs to be. The voice is the face, but why sound different? Wait a minute. The voice, but the look is like, no, that's not, what's going on and all of that. And be careful because remember, the code word is between you and the child, not between you and the child and the perpetrator. So you have to think in the back of your mind, unfortunately, okay, the child knows what the code word is. And then all of a sudden, here comes this situation happening, and it's not the child, it's the perpetrator. It's like, okay, something went left field, right field, out of field, and all of that. So have an awareness of that. And it's like, really? I really got to? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. You really have to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Another thing I will say, in regards to like phishing and scams, from personal experience, the emails. I mean, it's usually like, I'm a prince from Nigeria in regards to the emails. So like, unless, if you happen to know a prince from Nigeria, like, what's the likelihood that you actually know one? And I find that they're so obvious with it. Like, it's the misspellings and they're asking for large numbers. And like, honestly, I think it's fair to say, if you've never seen this person before, within 10 minutes, they're asking you for money. Like, it's usually, I think it's a red flag. Like, I think there's a common courtesy. It's a courtesy. Courtesy is the wrong word, but I think it's maybe like a norm, a social norm. Like, within 10 minutes, if they're like, oh, I need money, it's usually a red flag, right? So I think you want to be weary about who you're talking to online.
If you don't mind, I would like to, add to that.
Yeah.
Another giveaway too is if you're looking at where it's coming from as far as the email address, that's really a very noticeable giveaway because
that is. Yeah.
Because it's like, what kind of an email address is this? Never the like the logos.
Mm-hmm.
That really is a big thing as far as spoofing is concerned, because you're looking at this. I'll use, for example, one. A lot of times, unfortunately, this particular fintech gets it a lot. PayPal. That logo is actually, and I think that one is used a lot because it's quite easy to copy and it's quite easy to manipulate. So if you get something about PayPal, something about your account is fake, and then here comes something else too, a payment like you owe this much, is like, I know this, that's the adult side. And believe it or not, that's another form of that whaling too, because remember, the perpetrator couldn't get to the child, but it's like, you know what? That parent, yeah, they do have a PayPal account. And I just happen to have their login information. Let me try to get some money out of them. And then maybe include a little threatening language here and there, in order to do that. So yeah, you gotta be careful with that. You have to be careful as far as, even like you said, the fake kidnapping. You don't want it to be real. We don't. None of us want it to be real. The game and the measures, because they're working to gain trust. That's the key. They're working to gain trust. It might not be trust gained right away, but if the perpetrator is like, oh, I see it's going to take a little time to gain their trust. Okay, let me take my time, ease my way in, because there's this one adult who is very keen to what I'm trying to do. So let me slow my roll and do what's necessary to get done what I want to get done.
Absolutely. All right, let me just say some comments here. So got some praise, Amber. So thank you very much from Hanan. So there you go. Awesome presentation from Jesse Armstrong. Very good. We do have a question here from Toya. Did you mention the replay would be available? Also, are there software options you recommend to monitor social activity or just checking the privacy settings? So the answer to the first question, Toya, is yes, the replay will be available. I believe StreamYard will send you a link. So as soon as it's concluded, you will get an email from StreamYard with the video, with the link to the video of the replay. I will also say that I plan on putting this up on my social media as well later on. But StreamYard, which is the platform that we're using, they will provide a link to the video to this. So that's the answer to your first question. Amber, you want to take the second question?
I'll go backwards to forwards on this one. As far as checking the privacy settings, yes. Any social media platform, or even if you're using AI platforms, check the settings. Always check the settings. As far as software is concerned, believe it or not, a lot of your everything from McAfee to Kaspersky, antivirus, the ones that have as part of their plan, protection as far as internet activities are concerned. Those are just some examples of them because there are a vast and there are many as well. One of the websites, Trustpilot, I've used that a lot too, and they're reviewing like certain software. There are reviews as well if reviewers come across fake websites. That's one good source. And if, let's say you're about to go on a website or your child's about to go on a website, usually there's a warning that, there's a chance this website is a phishing website or this website is a fake website. And if you, I know this website, if you're going to click on continue anyway, know that there's risk. Know that there is all these cookies or whatever, and it's tracking website visitation. So if that warning comes up, I say abide by that warning with your antivirus software. And also, if you find reviews of any websites that are fake, you can even use artificial intelligence platforms to your advantage to where do a search. What are the current fake websites as of June 1st, 2024? Click return and you will be surprised the information that can come forth. So use AI to your advantage.
There we go. Beautiful. And just to add to the AI part, I think maybe in the past couple of years, AI has struck fear in us all, but AI existed well before. I think as soon as Chat GPT came out, that's where people started to freak out, right? But AI existed way before that. Just AI is in your phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
With Google Maps, with the location feature, the internet on your phone. AI existed well before ChatGPT. So I think now that it's more in the public for public consumption, now it's now it's gotten ridiculous. So now, AI was more kind of within companies and more private, but now they made it open to the public, and now of course now it can be abused. And
and if you want to ask anybody, ask the record industry. Because I stumbled upon it yesterday. There are two AI startup companies who rub some record executives the wrong way. Via having some music played of their artists on some AI platforms, but they didn't get, or I should say, they forgot about the copyright and performance rights rules and regulations. And these companies are letting them know to these startup AI companies, you didn't follow protocol, and you need to pay up. And the figures are quite in the six figures. That's the lowest so far. What I come across. I've also come across where with AI, you have to be careful as well as far as how you phrase, because you may not get the result that you think you're going to get. So, and even if you do it wrong, check it out and say, okay, maybe I searched the wrong way. Maybe instead of saying current, maybe I can say record of past, and then whatever that information is. And then there was even AI before that. Alexa, play my playlist from the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Siri, set the alarm for 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. AI, we just last couple of years we just woke. we became woke. We just woke.
No one had a problem with Alexa and Siri, and then all of a sudden, now we can use it to write papers, and all of a sudden, everyone and deep fakes and the voices, and now people are freaking out, right?
Yes.
All right.
Now you're freaking
Now
out.
you want to freak out. Where was you before? Oh my God. All right. Let me get this comment here. Another one from Toledo. She says, my child feels fearless on these online games such as Roblox. Personally, it seems like the wild, wild west without parental controls. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it works the same as any other database, right? You're collecting information from the child, and especially, you have to pay to get those. It's like, no, you have to pay to get credits so the child can play Roblox more, right? What are you doing? You're collecting the parent's credit card information, right? So you want to keep in mind, like, it works the same as any other website, really. You're collecting credit card information to get those extra points, right? Their names, addresses, emails, all that information is being stored. Especially if it's the child, that information is being stored.
Let's not forget the passwords either.
In the past, yeah. Yes. Yep. So you always want to be mindful of all those computer games. They're storing your information on a database that can be accessible, and like every few months or so, these apps are getting hacked, right? So, yes, they are. And that's how they get your information is people are hacking it. People are, shutting down the data. They're taking over the database and they collect all that information. So, we'll keep that in the back of your mind as well.
Yeah, and also keep in the back of your minds, Mama, Daddy, I got a new game, blah, blah, blah. Or they're all in a game and they're playing with their friends. And what game is this? I won't stop. Before you play even further, let me check out this game first. You're the adult, right? No disrespect or whatever, but I gotta say it how I gotta say it. Before anything happens in your household, in your apartment complex, in your condo, in your townhouse, in your living space, wherever the living space is, what is entering in your house or your living quarters? Earlier we were talking about no disrespect to anyone in Nigeria as far as anything is concerned, but those fake emails can come from the United States as well as a rich heir who is saying that this particular bank or this particular company has a $14 million trust set up for you. Make sure you email the information and your credit card and blah, 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 so on and so forth. So it's all around the world, unfortunately, where you just have to take precautions.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we got a next question here from Jesse Armstrong. What children online games do you find are the biggest risk?
All of them.
All of them. All of them. I don't know. I don't know any specific games, but pretty much all of them. I don't know what happened. I think I know maybe like the 90s and the early 2000s, the games were on consoles. And then I don't know what happened. And in the past, like 15, 20 years, games have migrated to the computer, to apps. And so there's no more Sega Genesis anymore, right? And no more Wii,
Right.
no more Wii. I remember Wii was a big thing when it came out and then it just died, right? So I think there's no more consoles. Somehow we migrated away from consoles and we've migrated to computer games and apps. So I think, and of course that exposes you more, and all of those things require the internet to work, right? So all those require the internet to work. So the fact that you need the internet to work, it's like, well, you just exposed yourself to a bunch of different things out there.
Yeah, you do, because me, the Pac-Man, the Pac girl myself.
Pong, you remember Pong?
Oh yeah, definitely remember Pong. The thing, as you mentioned before, yes, everything one way or another is internet based or even virtual reality based. Well, it's gonna have to rely on internet signal anyway. And you got these big expensive shades, glasses, vocal, whatever you want to call them, headsets and visors and all of that. From there, virtual reality, metaverse and all of that stuff, you have that to deal with. And in case you're able to do anything robotic wise, in case you have that opportunity to do anything drone wise, in case you have that opportunity to do everything with whatever tools and accessories you have in your vehicles and your smart boards, your smart TVs, this, that, and the other, that's actually a whole nother presentation. That's a whole nother presentation in a whole nother realm, but it's out there. But I want to make sure I mention it because we have to be aware. Yes, we have a lot to be aware, but one key word, if you don't remember anything else, what can be done as far as this key word? Protection.
Absolutely. And being aware, right? And just as you were talking, it's like everything is smart now, right? There's the smart TV and the smart toothbrushes and the smart cars, and even cars are you can get Wi-Fi in the car now, and we're moving more and more into internet dependency, and that of course is increasing the danger more and more. So definitely protection. I would also throw in another word, which is awareness. So definitely be aware of what's going on, and even like smartphones, it's more accessible now. Like it's cheaper now. It's popular now. You can get them for free to do some Medicaid programs. So even smartphones are even more accessible now. So, of course, contributing to the internet dependency that we're moving into now. So definitely be aware and you gotta have your child take a break from the apps, from the computer, from the let's go back to going outside and playing a game. Like let's take a break. Take a break from the computer. Take a break from the apps, and get them involved in a club or sports or something. So, but definitely let's minimize the internet activity, I think. So definitely awareness, definitely protection, but also minimization. There's another word I would throw out there. Mm-hmm. Definitely minimization.
That's a good one.
Turn it off. Have a phone curfew or computer curfew, something like that. Definitely start scaling back.
Yeah, and let me add this: health. You want to maintain your health, because a lot of times, especially when the pandemic came about, what were we doing a lot of? We were doing a lot of, having our eyes on the internet, had to make sure to have internet access anyway, because everything just about had to be viewed or the information gathered online. We didn't have a choice at the time. So you got to maintain your health, your not body health, eye health, all of that, because your eyes will get strained from looking at this all the time. Am I guilty? Yeah. In my field of computer technology, guilty. But I want to make sure to maintain my eye health. I want to make sure I maintain my body health. I want to make sure that, one way or another, I'm active. And even in outside activity, that has to be monitored as well, because while we're outside, well, let's not do anything on the phones or whatever right now. You're in the midst of everything. Hold on, baby. I got a text. Let me see what's going on here. You have to monitor, okay, from this time to that time while I'm spending time with my child, no text, no DMs, no whatever the case may be. Let's block that out and spend some time, because you need time with your child. And hey, as an adult, you need time for yourself too, because you have to maintain yourself. They talked about self-care a lot. Oh, it's been out, but we got woke to that too. Yes, self-care is important. Mm-hmm. Even your child needs to know that self-care is important. Your little niece needs to know. Your little nephew needs to know. Everybody needs to know. Our health needs to be maintained in order to make it to the day-to-day activities of everything. Even in this, let's say your child plays sports or whatever. What do we have to have access to, honestly? Because we are dependent on this internet. And please don't have it where you don't have access to an internet, or you lose the internet signal for some reason, because we'll lose our minds.
I know. That's a work in progress for me. You go somewhere where the internet cuts off and you are screwed. So,
or it's slower than the molasses. It's slower than I could have rode on a tortoise and get to where I need to get to faster than this doggone internet signal. But then you're going to charge this, that, and the other, and your internet signal is whack. It's an old word, I know. But, yeah. But it's like what they say these days. Hey, no cap. Hey, what's up with your internet signal?
All right, absolutely. All right, so time is going. I guess no more questions. Feel free to put them in the chat, but I guess I'll tailor it here. Mm-hmm. So the question that I see a lot, the parents, is how young is too young for social media? What is the right age for the child to be on social media? For me, I would say 18. Wait till you're an adult. I don't know what happened with Facebook. Facebook used to be 18 and up. All of a sudden, they're like 13-year-olds now, and I'm like, no. And then it just went downhill from there. So I would say, and then schools are incorporating it into the curriculum, other things. Yeah, but ideally, maybe if not 18, maybe upper teenager. So like 15, 16, I would say that would be my recommendation. So what say you, Amber?
It's not that I don't agree with you and I understand where you're coming from, but I would have to be okay, for real. Because, and even some countries, the child's not even 10 yet and more technologically advanced. and their brother or their sister who happens to be turning 4 next week can probably help being a youthpreneur and help run your business. All they need is internet access and away they go.
Absolutely.
I would answer this way. Please understand that, especially these days, children under 10 are very technologically advanced. Mm-hmm. And the toys now look like, let me use this for example. Look like real headphones like this, and they look like real, and guess what? They are real smartphones. I have seen kids or they look like real tablets, and they're internet-based games. And weekly, for example, the church I attend, there's one young child, I don't think they're even 5 or 6 yet, and already on this. As soon as you find out how digitally literate your child is, start monitoring their activities ASAP, because it can occur under the age of 10. I'm telling you now, even as younger than 5. That's the world we're in.
Absolutely. A few more things came in.
Okay.
Eddie says, I play Roblox with my kids.
Oh, good.
Awesome. So definitely, playing the games with the kids. That's a very good strategy. They always have supervision on the medias. Awesome. So getting involved, that's another thing you could do, play as a way of bonding, with the child, and to see what they're doing, actually play the game with the child,
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing you could do.
Yes, it is.
Awesome. All right. So time is going. So let's get to the raffle.
Drum roll, please.
All right. I'm just going to.
I don't know if they can hear that or not, but hey.
I'm going to throw out the names. Okay. So we have Toya from Maryland. Congratulations.
Okay.
So we will reach out to you. Next one is Hanan from KSA. I'm not sure where that is, but we will also reach out to you. Next one is Jesse from New Brunswick. I believe that's New Jersey. Okay. Yep. Congratulations.
Sounds like it.
Jesse. And the next one is Eddie in Puerto Rico. Congratulations to Eddie. So congratulations to those 4. So we will be contacting you. Who did I say? And I said Jesse, right? Mm-hmm. Who was the 4th name? Oh, Toya, Hanan, Jesse, and
Eddie.
Okay, there you go. Beautiful. All right. So we will be reaching out to you. So make sure you keep an eye out in the email in regards to your prize. But make sure you respond to that email. All right.
Please do.
Yeah.
Please. Oh my God. Please do. Of course, I'm seeing like a few activity in the chat. And I understand. I think they are like, and they act like us when we were kids. Like, whack it. This is what I wanted. This is what I wanted. That's what I wanted.
All right. So make sure you guys check your emails. We'd hate for it to be forfeit. So make sure you guys respond to the email.
Please do. And if you don't mind, let me quickly interject what the other raffle was, because I have to admit my mind was on the presentation, even escaped me myself. The other raffle prize was a free e-learning course. That was the other one.
Oh, okay. Oh, Jesse's in Canada. Sorry, Jesse. I saw New Brunswick and I was like, New Jersey. But I was like, oh no, Canada. Okay, that's good. We have some international exposure. So
yes, thanks for letting us know.
All right. So we will be in touch with instructions. So make sure you follow those instructions, you guys. All right. So I think we can conclude. So thank you guys for coming on. So let's we'll just promote ourselves so you guys can follow us. All right, so let me just pull it out here. All right, so I will start with myself. Mm-hmm. All right, so thank you guys for joining us again on the dangers of social media. I'm sorry, I'm just like playing with buttons. All right, so myself again, I am Gabrielle Crichlow. So my company is A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. So if you or your child are in need of any tutoring services, my company provides one-on-one services, virtual for wherever you are in the world. If you happen to be in my local area of New York City or Long Island, we do in-person as well. But as we have some internationals, we do virtual tutoring as well as test prep. Wait, I see another comment. Thanks, great presentation. Thank you, Eddie. All right, so the information is on the screen right now in terms of my contact information, but I will just say if you are interested in receiving our tutoring services, the website is www.astepaheadtutoringservices.com. I also encourage you to follow us on our social media platforms. Is there a certificate of presentation? Eddie, not sure about that. I guess we'll have to discuss that. But yes. So my information is on the screen right now. So if you're interested in receiving tutoring services for your child, maybe they're falling behind, missing out on homework, anything like that, feel free to reach out to us. The information is on the screen, but I will say the website, www.astepaheadtutoringservices.com. And we are also on various social media platforms. I know we're talking about the danger of social media, but there's the beauty about it as well. So you could still follow us on multiple social media platforms as well. The company is A Step Ahead Tutoring Services. All right, Amber, I will let you please promote yourself.
Okay. Thank you again, everyone. Greatly appreciate you. Gabriel, if you don't mind showing the PowerPoint screen, I'm going to show both our emails, and thank you so much. That's where you can reach us in case you have any questions or the like. And if you don't mind, put in the subject line, the dangers of social media. So we'll both know that it's from you. As we're talking about, knowing what the code is. So the code is the dangers of social media. Again, Amber Hawkins, your computer needs of Toledo LLC, where the motto is computer training and more than to you. I provide customized on-site, online, and e-mobile computer training and consulting services. I, with a partner, sell computers and accessories online. And I'm also a speaker on computer topics and trends. Actually, I got to change it again. On digital topics and trends, because it's everything from computers to smartphones and all of that. Usually I do the training and the consulting as far as with adults are concerned. That's my audience that I usually serve and provide services and products to. However, if there is something that your child needs as far as maybe some training, or usually I don't do consulting under adult age, but if there is something as far as consulting is concerned, let's talk about that. I do have a special as far as what I call self-paced e-mobile computer training consulting. Again, reach out to Ms. Press CEO at yourcomputerneeds.net. and you can reach out and I can email you more information about that. The deadline, the last day to take advantage of it is June 30th. So any questions, make sure to email me. Again, Ms. Press, CEO at yourcomputerneeds.net. As Gabrielle was saying before, on social media platforms, that's the way things are these days. You'll find out and where you find us. YCNOTLLC05. Again, YCNOTLLC05. That's where you can find me on all social media platforms. As far as your question, Eddie, as far as certificate of participation, Gabriel and I will get back with you as far as that is concerned, and thanks for the question, because that's new to me too.
I guess we didn't really plan for it. I don't know if you need it for something, but
that's what I was thinking too. I was wondering. I said, is it needed for something, or I don't know. I said, that's new to us.
Yeah. Well, we'll contact you about that if you need something. But yes. So, all right, wonderful. Well, so thank you again we'll take that down. Thank you again for joining us on this webinar. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns. Got another comment? Yes, from Eddie. All right, so Eddie, we will be in touch with you. But thank you again for joining us on this webinar. We appreciate you being here. CEU hours.
Oh, CEU. Oh, okay.
CEU hours.
This is a first.
That's a first.
Thank you, though.
We'll make a note.
Yes, we will.
We're going to make a note. So if you guys need anything from us specifically, we'll be in touch with you because that is new to us. Orgah, ORGAH. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be in touch with you if you need something in specific from us for being here. But yeah, so thank you again for joining us on this webinar. We appreciate you guys being here. You have our information if you need to contact us for any reason. The raffle winners, we will be in touch with you, so make sure you keep an eye on those emails, and we hope to see you again soon. Was there anything else you wanted to add, Amber, before we close?
Nope. I going to say it again. Thank you all so much. We greatly appreciate you, and we hope that the information provided is going to be very helpful for you. And just a side note, not that we're not aware of CEUs, but in both of our professions, one way or another, we've had to acquire them. It's just that it's the first time that is asked of us. And actually that is exciting. It's like, okay, we have to figure a way to, fulfill this request. But as she mentioned before, get in contact with us and we'll get back with you.
All right, awesome. And yes, and the replay will be available once again. So as soon as we end it, you should be getting an email from StreamYard with the instructions on how to access the recording. Other than that, I guess that is it. So thank you again for joining us. And and thank you again for joining us. And thank you again for joining us, you guys, on the Dangerous Social Media, and please keep in touch with us. So you guys have a fabulous day.
Thanks again. Take care.
Thanks again. Bye.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.